Good morning everybody, welcome back to another vlog, welcome back to the channel. Hope we're all doing very well. Joining me on a slightly different introduction today. Not seeing my usual waking up and caffeinating and just working, which I have got up and done my normal morning routine. It's about 8:30 now, so I've actually done all of my check-ins for the day. I've had my first meal of the day as well, and I've just come outside for a lovely walk because the morning was absolutely stunning. Usually it's quite dark and wet, so often I will do a decent amount of steps indoors, one for convenience with work, but also just to prevent myself from getting very sick, because whenever I come outside in the dark and the wet regularly, it doesn't end very well. But when the weather is nice and I can go outdoors, and it's nice to honestly just get out and get some fresh air. So anyway, that's why I'm out doing a nice little walk before I go back, eat my pre-workout meal, and then we're going to head to the gym. And today we have got legs, lats and biceps. So we're going to go through another session today. In today's video, I do especially want to address staying motivated in the off season, in the winter months especially. I feel like I know a decent amount about staying motivated through especially longer off seasons or gaining phases when you've not got that imminent goal of getting super shredded or stage lean. As somebody who honestly used to really struggle with motivation and discipline, I can hopefully share some good insight on that. So whilst my hair is blowing all over the place, I'll finish off this walk and then we'll get stuck into today's video. I'm going to get this walk boxed off, head back home, have my pre-workout meal, and of course I hope you enjoy the video ahead. So if you do enjoy today's video, please do make sure to like, subscribe, what do they say, ring the bell, so you can stay up to date with more videos. But as always, thank you for all the wonderful support, and I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're starting your day, ending your day, whatever's going on, I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far as well. I think when it comes to motivation, drive, desire to do the things that you need to do day by day, it can be broken down into different aspects. I think that there is firstly the things that are small things that you can do every day that can help you to feel motivated, that can help you to feel better. And then there is also the bigger overarching theme and understanding of what motivation and drive really is, and how we can change our perspective of that and our understanding of that to always help us to feel motivated or driven towards our goals. So the first part of this video, as we run through the day, I am going to go through more of the smaller little things that you can add into a day that will genuinely help you to feel better, be more consistent with your goals, be more consistent with your targets. And these are just little things that you can implement into the day. So we're going to start with a couple of things I've done this morning. So number one thing that you always see that I do every morning is I get out my Lumi light. So this is, as you can see, very bright here. This is a Lumi lamp. That's the exact one that it is. Or many people will know that that is called like an SAD lamp. So SAD, seasonal affective disorder, is what a lot of people struggle with, especially in these darker months. So that's when obviously you're waking up in the morning, it's very dark outside, and that is genuinely something that does impact your circadian rhythm. So you wake up and you just feel tired. You feel like you want to go back to bed. Your energy feels very low across the day. And actually starting off your day with having sunlight exposure, like I said, when I went out, trying to get some sunlight when it is out, having a SAD lamp or getting outside for daylight can really help. So that's something that can just generally like wake you up a little bit more in the morning. Another thing that I do every single morning, as you always see, is I have a little journal. I would be lost without this. This is my cast journal, that's what this is called. So that's actually just the name. Where is it on the side? So that's in the back. That's the name of this brand, as all of my pieces of paper fall out of it. But this is like an absolute godsend for me. I have used this specific journal for 5 years now. And essentially, it's just a diary really. I like this one because it's broken down very nice and neatly. And it has little sections in it as well that have talk about different focuses for different months and writing out different goals. But that's why this helps me and keeps me accountable every day, because in advance of every single week, in advance of every day, every month, I will write out my goals, my targets for said month. I will write out all my plans, all the things that I need to do, and I will break that down for myself day by day. You know, every day starts off with what my weight was, what my session is, what my step goal is. If I have cardio, what's my cardio goal? What do I need to do with work? I need to do my log, I need to do a post, I need to do check-ins, I need to record for YouTube. You know, like little things that I will write down on here. And I will also always write notes in here of what I am grateful for. And I will also write down affirmations and things that I want and things that I will achieve. And some people say it's very hippie and loopy to do stuff like that, or whatever you think. It works. Don't care what anyone says, it does work and it does make a difference, and it just keeps you accountable. So these are like little things that you can do that do help you to stay in alignment with your process, to help you to stay motivated and have a vision of that. So no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what the day looks like ahead, I wake up and that's my constant every day. And that is something that, especially when you're in an off season and you're feeling maybe a little bit out of touch with your goals and your process, and you think, oh, I'd rather not, it just reminds you of the things that you want to do and why you want to do them. And that's me laying out the little breakdown of the targets that I need to do, and also at the same time writing down the goals that I want and reminding myself why I actually want to do all of those little tasks as well. When it comes to being motivated to eat my meals as well, you guys know because I talk about this all the time, but there's a huge aspect of structure, and I'll talk about that later on. But a big thing that honestly keeps me like motivated to eat my meals, make my meals, prep my meals every day is because I've learned to create a process, and I put in the effort within my process to love all the little things that I do every day. So I don't ever think about prepping my meals and dread prepping my meals or dread eating my meals for the day, because I make meals that I enjoy. I put effort into my food so that I look forward to eating my meals. And you know, there is obviously certain aspects of your process or of your bodybuilding journey that do come with just being accountable. But there's also some things that you might be struggling with because the setup is genuinely just one that you really don't enjoy. Discomfort is great, and sometimes you're not going to enjoy everything, but sometimes you can make little changes so that you do enjoy things more.
Alright then guys.
It's time for your workout. What have you got?
I've got oatmeal, porridge, and raspberries, and salt, and the only option for dark chocolate, which is 100% Montezuma's. And that is it for today. And a lovely postcard from Corin and Jordan.
It's very nice.
Thank you, Jordan, and thank you, Corin.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I've got my normal pre-workout meal, so I'm not going to repeat it because it's the same every time. What's wrong?
I was going to say something. Oh yeah. Since I don't do YouTube, I'll speak for myself on your channel, since I'm basically represented on your channel anyway. Getting my hair cut tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So the next time you see me, I'll have a new cut.
This is the first time, AJ, when was the last time you had your hair cut?
November 2024 is the last time I visited a barber's. That was prior to going to Boston, when I was still getting like the sides like trimmed up a little bit and the rest was growing.
Yeah.
Looked quite nice then, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going full send.
Are you nervous? Or are you excited?
I'm more excited than nervous.
I'm excited.
I've experienced this hair now.
Mm.
This hair has been consistent.
Maxed out.
It's maxed out. It's only going to get messier from here.
Mm.
So yeah.
He's at a point now, because he's got it in a bun. That's why it looks like that. Because he's at the point now where he either just keeps growing and has basically longer hair than me and has just long hair, which I don't think suits AJ, if I'm honest.
I look quite feminine when it's like down. Like if you were
like 6'2" and you were like Jason Momoa, was that his name? Like you got a beard, you can pull that off. But for you, it's not.
It's making me not look clean.
Long hair is nice, but it's styled.
Yeah, long hair styled. Yeah.
So. it'll be new when you see him next. That's the news, everyone. So
yeah.
now we're going to eat. Pre, what have you got today? Upper?
Got upper today.
Upper.
Upper, yeah.
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 Upper.
Since I did legs yesterday, probably got upper today. Yeah, upper today. What about you?
Well, what have I got? Do you know my session?
Quads, push, and no, not push. Quads, back, and triceps. Quads, back, and biceps.
Got there in the end.
Quads, back, bicep.
Yeah. Well, off we go. Wow, I tell you what, these are definitely the days where I'm very glad that my car has got heated steering wheel and a heated seat, because it is freezing. It's very, very, very cold. Literally got like 3 layers on today to try and warm me up in some aspect going into today's session. And it's also why, other than the fact that AJ's car is not actually suitable to really fit another human being in it, I don't like going in AJ's car to the gym because no heated seat. So it's great for, you know, looks, sporting activities, but when it comes to functionality, a GT3 RS is not really a functionable vehicle. But nevertheless, we are on our way to the gym, and please excuse if you can hear loads of stuff rattling around in the back. As it's Christmas time, I've got loads of just crap and junk basically in the boot. I'll be amazed if I get that out in a month's time and it's not all smashed to pieces. And we're on our way to the gym, and I wanted to talk through then some of the things that I will also do going into the session that also allow me to feel like I'm motivated and ready to go and train. Because obviously one thing a lot of people struggle with is, you know, it's not just the routine and the meals and everything, it's going to train and putting your effort into training. And first hurdle where most people struggle is actually just going to the gym and just not wanting to train. And this is where I think you need to understand the difference between how you're feeling about the day, how you're feeling about work, how you're feeling about other things, versus how you actually feel about training. And like today is a great example for me, because I'm having a pretty horrible day in terms of my menstrual cycle, which, as many women I know I have a high female watch rate on this channel will know, it don't feel so great. And you know, in that moment your body is kind of craving a lot of comfort, and everyone is very, very different when they're obviously around this time with what they need to do to manage how they feel. But like, I could very easily lean into how I feel at the moment and think, what does my body immediately want in this moment, okay? But that's what my body immediately wants right now, but it's not necessarily reflective of how I actually feel about training. Because how I actually feel about training is, I love training. When I'm actually training, and when I'm also finished training, how I feel after training is always great. Like, I love that more than anything else in the world. So usually what I have to do is remind myself of that if ever I have those moments where I'm a bit apprehensive about going to the gym. And this is something that, because I've practiced this for so many years, I don't struggle with it so much anymore, but I definitely used to. And especially for me, and this is an example most people will struggle with, is work or stress or life. When you're busy with work, had a long day at work, or you've got other stress going on at home, and you think, oh, I just don't want to go train. And the reality is it's not that you don't want to go and train. If you actually went and you actually trained, and this is what most people always say, is like, oh, I actually had a really good session, is you don't feel negatively about training. When you isolate training on its own, you probably don't really hate that, let's be honest. Especially if you're a bodybuilder, you probably do love the process. And there's a lot of other things we can do about that, which we'll talk through in today's session. But you need to be able to separate how you feel about other things going on in your life versus how you actually feel about training in and of itself. Because the issue occurs when you let the things like bleed into each other, and that's when you start to think negatively about training, because you're letting negativity from other things go in. So always like separate training from other things in your day, and the best ways that can help you with that are just like really little simple things. So this is why I really like my drive to the gym, because my drive to the gym always separates my day. I like to get some tunes on, so once I finish this little segment, I'll put some music on, I'll get in some good vibes, I'll get focused, I'll think about the session ahead. If you're not driving to the gym, you know, even if you're not walking to the gym, whatever it may be, if you're going straight from work, straight from a stressful day, or you're starting your day as well on a negative note and then just trying to get straight into training, do something that switches you away from that and views your tasks in terms of task separation, especially going to the gym. So like, sit down for 5 minutes with your logbook, go and do a little bit of a walk on the treadmill and just get your head in the right headspace. You know, honestly, some people think it's cringy, but put a bit of fucking Machiavelli motivation on and just get yourself like ready and excited, because most of the time, as I said, we all train because we love training, and we started training because we love bodybuilding and we love pushing ourselves. So it's important to be able to kind of get yourself back into that mentality before you go and train. So that's a little bit of advice. These are little things that you can do that if you neglect them, if you start rushing into sessions, if you carry a negative mindset, all of these things will genuinely really impact your drive to even go and train in the first place. Having those reminders, honestly, of like why you train, why you love training, how it makes you feel during and afterwards, and always giving yourself that reminder is very important, so that even on those bad days we don't want to fucking go and train, you're like, okay, like I know that after the fact I will feel really good if I go and get this session in. So if you're not doing it for what your body craves for comfort right now in the present moment, do it for your future self, you know. So always give yourself those reminders, and those are like little things, as with the journaling in the morning, really do help. So anyway, on my end, I'm going to drink my coffee, I'm going to put some tunes on, I'm going to get to the gym, and then we're going to train. So we've got lats, legs and biceps, which is actually a really fun session. I did this session with one of my clients last week and it was a D volume, so I'm excited to kind of get after it properly today. Now I'll talk you through a few things in the session as well with regards to things that like motivate me in training and ways that I keep myself pushing forwards and always excited in some regard, honestly, to go and train every day. No matter where I'm at in my process, no matter where I'm at in the off-season prep, anything like that as well. Alright, so we're in the gym. I'm about to get my session started very soon. My first movement is a dual arm lat pull down. It's basically just a neutral grip lat pull down. Obviously a bit more tucked in just to be a bit more lat biased as opposed to upper back. I'm just waiting for the lat pull down machine that I like to use. So as always, anyway, I'm going to start my session with a bit of mobility work. But that obviously brings me on to one of the things that will motivate you more than anything within your training, especially in your off season, is honestly this, or this combined with or with just a consistent training program, because not everyone likes to have a logbook, and I totally get that. But at least having a consistent training setup, something that you can set goals with, something that you can work on progressing or getting better at in some shape or form over time, because the best thing and the most motivating thing, the most amazing thing about being in off seasons is your ability to grow. Like, yes, in a prep, obviously it's exciting because you're getting leaner and that's obviously cool in its own way. But the thing that drives me the most and should drive you the most when you are in your growing phases is the ability to build muscle, because people think, oh, it's not as motivating because I'm not getting shredded or nothing's changing, but everything is changing. Like, this is your ability to grow. That's seriously fucking cool and seriously fun. So you need to be able to focus on that in a positive way and be able to extract everything that you can from that. For me, I like my logbook because I can write my sessions out. I can make sure that I am progressing in some shape or form every week, and especially on this new split, I have, goals every session to work towards improving my weaknesses and making a lot of things better and improving not just my physique in general, but improving on the bits of my physique that do really need to improve. And that for me is exciting and that's motivating. So, if you're struggling with those points of motivation or drive, especially in your off seasons, a lot of the time it comes down to your perspective of the phase, for sure. But understanding the importance of training, especially within that phase, and having something that allows you to continuously drive forwards. Like for me, I come down, start a session, I sit with my logbook, I look at my session, I'm like, cool, that's what I need to do better this week, and I'm fucking ready to get after it. So that's what I want you to take on board. If you don't have anything like that drives you in your sessions, it's probably something you can work on. Right, I'm going to do my mobility now. Hopefully the lat pull down will be free afterwards. All right, so the goal here is obviously to make this a little bit more lat biased. So as I said, just keeping the elbows tucked in and just trying to drive them down to the hips. So I've got one more warm up here and then I'll go into my working sets. Oh, fuck off. Next movement, we've got a cable lat pullover, which I've set up with the bench incline like this, just because it obviously keeps my torso in a nice fixed position. So I just feel a bit more stable, not moving my like fucking torso and hips around as much, which I get obviously when I'm like facing forwards. I also get a really nice stretch on this setup, which feels really nice. And it's a little bit harder, I suppose, in that short position, which is nice at the start of the session. So it just really, really, really gets my lats firing, which is tremendous. So I've got 3 sets on here. Gonna do probably one more warm up again on this, and then we'll get working. Great example of progressions and things you can work towards on this, because I did 47 last week for my first set, so I'm literally going to aim to just add another pin on this and match reps, and that is a progression. That's something you can work towards. These are like mini wins, and you have to enjoy the mini wins. Like, I love the mini wins every day. If you are too distracted by instant gratification or receiving big overall progress instantly, you'll struggle to make progress in anything you do, or always to be able to stay driven. You have to appreciate how much the small actions day by day add up over time, and have appreciation for that. Oh, yes. Just the 2 sets here in this session, because this is essentially like legs, so additional leg work, and then just some top up lat work basically. So just getting some extra lat work in because I can afford to do so in this session. So that's why I've got 2 sets of lat pull down, and then 3 sets, sorry, of lat pull down, and then the 2 sets of lat pullovers. So that'll be the back work then done for the session. Then we'll do some biceps, and then we'll be on to the fun little leg stuff as well. So 2 sets of cable curls at this point in the session, because I'm not battered after the leg work, so I can just get 2 really solid sets in, and then I can move on to the leg training from there. I'll tell you one thing that I think people struggle with a lot when it comes to motivation though, is obviously environment. And I'm obviously very fortunate that I do have a great training facility to train in, like the kit is great, but sometimes as well, like there's things about the environment here that like I might struggle with when it comes to my like focus or drive to train, if it's busy or if the music's not great, which for me I struggle with a lot. But that's why I put my headphones in and I create my own environment that gets me focused. Like, I'll watch a video before training, like I said, that gets me in the mood. I will listen to music that gets me focused. I will envision what I want to see in my training, because environment will only carry you so far. Environment is another one of those superficial things that gives you a little bit of instant motivation, but it only, like I say, it only takes you too far. It's not going to carry you on those harder days or every single day. You know, even an amazing environment, over time the novelty wears on. So really that drive and that environment to train hard comes from what you create in here rather than what's happening around you. On to the leg work, and we start with the leg extensions. So obviously the goal is training the quads, getting the quads short here. And one thing that I really like to use on this is the hustler pad, just because it allows you to get a little bit more stretch Obviously, the leg extension is more of a shortened challenge for the quads, but you still also want to lengthen the quad as best as you can. Obviously, you can set it up in different ways based on what you prefer, but this just feels really, really good for me personally. So if it feels good, use it. If it doesn't feel good, don't use it. We've got 3 sets here. So I like to spend a good amount of time warming up here because it's my first leg work of the session. And I want to make sure that I've got good connection with my quads, good intention with my quads, good blood flow there, and then we'll go into the working sets. I don't know if anyone's got any tips for how to stop the Osmo from dying so suddenly, but my Osmo's got like 10% left on it. I was on like 80 when I came in here. I've not even filmed that much, it just seems to die rapidly. So I'm gonna get just a few bits, very short segments, moving on from here most likely. I've got 2 more sets on here. As I mentioned, I did that first set on setting 5, so I'll move it down to setting 3. Basically just means the load will drop off a bit as we get the quad short, so as you come into those latter sets, you can still have the ability to get your quad short, even though naturally you're going to find it harder to get your quad short. It means you can still obviously shorten the quads, which is the goal. So 2 more sets on here, then we'll move to adductor and leg press. We've got a couple of sets, adductor, 3 sets of leg press, 3 sets of calves and abs. So that's the remainder of the session. I'm going to just show you some clips of those sets. If I've got anything to add, I'll talk you through it. But I'm just going to crack on with the work. Hope you enjoy watching. Only note, and just a little tip I wanted to show you guys whilst we're on this leg press, is obviously this session is a little bit more like quad focus. So you'll see I've got no like direct hamstring work. I've not got a hamstring curl or anything. So I did hamstrings 2 days ago. So not yesterday, the day before that, and then I've got hamstrings again, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So I'm trying to make this a bit more quad bias. For some people you might think, oh, Lord, everyone knows how to do a quad bias or glute bias leg press, but not everyone does. So for some people this might be helpful. Now, if you're trying to make a leg press or even a split squat or a squat more quad bias, you want to try and get more knee flexion and more forward knee travel, so like knees over toes, versus if you're trying to make it more hip dominant, more glute bias, so more hip flexion rather than knee flexion, you will want to avoid as much knee flexion, avoid so much forward knee over toe, and as a result of that, that will impact your stance. So wanting more glute, you'd come higher, almost like up here, in all honesty, so that you're getting a load of hip bias. So do you see how much hip flexion I'm getting there compared to knee flexion? Not a lot. So if you're wanting to make it more quad bias, which is what I'm doing, take my stance a bit lower and try to maximize as much knee flexion as I can get. that was an absolutely fantastic session, done and dusted, and something that was honestly so much fun. And I think that really above anything else, this is one of the biggest things that will carry you so much. Why are you so high up? Let's move you down. Okay, there we go. I think I just have the steering wheel obviously set very high for my my short height, but it is one of the things that will always kind of, driving should always motivate you in some elements, is genuinely like your enjoyment of training. Like I really do love training, and I think that if you get into bodybuilding, I'm not just talking about like training for fitness, because not everyone does love love weight training, and that's totally fine. I think most people, when they learn how to weight train properly and progress, do generally fall in love with it. But especially if you have bodybuilding goals where like bodybuilding is training, you should love training. You know, even for the way that it challenges you, that's why you love it. Like, that's why I love going in the gym even when I don't feel great, because I love the challenge that it presents me every day. It's always an opportunity to literally, I know like it's a Hunter Labrada saying, so a lot of you will have heard this, but it is an opportunity to win the day. You know, every time I go into the gym, every set, every session, every rep, like it's an opportunity for me to just give something my all. And that for me is enjoyable. For some people, maybe that drives a little bit of pressure, and I don't think that you should put too much external pressure on yourself if that pulls away from your enjoyment, because that's defeating the purpose. But if you're finding a huge amount of unenjoyment in your training, then that is something that you can look at in a sense of like, how can you make that more enjoyable? Because yes, you can reframe your perspective of, okay, this is driving you towards your goals, but if there is some form of like alignment where you feel as though this split maybe isn't in alignment with the areas you want to work on or improve, then, you know, discuss that with your coach or look at that with your programming yourself, and just find a way that is going to allow you to genuinely love your training. Because I think that, as I said, I think you should love your training. I never, and I always say this, I never have bad sessions. I have some sessions that are harder than others, of course, but that doesn't make it a bad session, because I choose whether I have a bad session or not. And when I learned to do that, because trust me, I had my fair share of bad sessions when I first got into bodybuilding, especially through my first prep. So I'd say in my first like 3 to 4 years, like my mindset wasn't where it was now in terms of like my maturity as a bodybuilder, and also my maturity just as like a woman as well. And I used to make myself have bad sessions, because I'd go in and I'd be like, oh, I'm in a bad mindset today, or this is already started out and I've not progressed this, it's going to be a bad session. And now I just don't take that approach. You know, if I go in and something feels a bit harder and it's not moving as it normally would do, I just go, right, okay, like this is just an opportunity for me to lock in. Even if I do not progress those numbers, I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to dwell on it. And I'm not going to let that dictate the rest of my session. I just go, okay, like I'm maybe not as powerful as I would like to be today, but these are the cards we're dealt. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed to be able to be here and to move my body. And I'm going to make the choice to just have the best session that I possibly can do ahead, and just have as much fun and appreciation for what I'm capable of doing. And I think that's very important. And then as a result, I don't ever feel that like that feeling of being like demotivated just because something's not perfect, because I have that appreciation of what I'm just able to do in general, and being able to do something that I love. So I find it very hard to actually talk about these like superficial things that will help you with like motivation in terms of hacks, because there are only so many things. And a lot of these hacks even sometimes really do come down to like how you view motivation as a whole, and that becomes your hack. But I'll talk about that a lot more later on. Hey everyone, welcome to the next segment of the video. You are joining me the next day. I got home and I had my normal post-workout meal, which you'll see a nice little overlay of here. But then after that, I just had quite a bit of work and things to do. And I was like, I am in that typical post-leg day, not quite being able to say coherent words, so I'm not going to film this point of the video, which is something that I wanted to be able to articulate well and actually talk through properly. So I'm doing it the next day. Hope that's all okay. You've not really got a choice anyway. So here we are. And we are actually going to talk a little bit more about motivation on a deeper level and how to really understand and perceive motivation so that you can be aware of how it can drive your process in some elements, but how to honestly actually deal with not having motivation on a lot of days. Because motivation is essentially having a reason to want to do something, and having a reason to want to do something that's very, very much in close proximity. It feels very present. It's very much there in the moment. So some examples of being very motivated might be, it's a great day outside. The sky is blue, the weather is nice, you feel in a great mood, you want to go out and do something. So like something in your external environment is motivating you. Another thing is maybe, like coming into the new year or having a new training split and things are new and things are exciting. So it's motivating, you want to get into it. A big one that people see in bodybuilding is obviously coming off the back of like a competitive season, throughout a competitive season, but especially in the context of an off season, it's usually the start of that off season. Maybe you didn't play, so you've got some new goals in place, and it's like you have that instant surge of motivation because you're like fired up, right? But eventually that adrenaline wears off. Eventually you get into the monotonous process of bodybuilding and of life, and you don't always have that surface level motivation that is present. And it's where you have to understand that motivation is superficial, it is temporary, but you don't always need to have that surface level desire or that surface level motivation in order to quite honestly do the things that we need to do. I think there's two things to break down here that will help you with actually dealing with that and not letting that be something that derails you from your goals or from your effort. So the first thing, as I've kind of already touched on there, and I've said a lot throughout this video, is the fact that you don't need to always correlate what you do with how you feel, or how you feel with how you then act. So often I think we sometimes think, oh, my body doesn't want to do this, or I'm just not feeling motivated, or I feel tired today, so I'm going to cave into the comfort of just staying at home, or not prepping my meals, or making something that's easy. But you have to learn that you actually have the ability to override those thoughts and those feelings, because what your brain sometimes thinks that it wants, sometimes it does need rest, and that's a different scenario. But just because you don't want to do something, you don't feel like doing something, doesn't mean that you don't have to do it. Equally, because you want to do something or you feel like doing something doesn't mean that you have to do it. It works in both areas. You have the ability to override your feelings to act in accordance with your goals and what you know is actually going to be better for you from a wider perspective. And then number two, this is the second point, having a very deep understanding of your overall overarching goals, values, desires, what you want to achieve is very important. And that is the thing that will actually carry you above anything else. It's why, like, I always give this as kind of an example. Sometimes you don't always want to go to work, right? You wake up and you're like, I don't really want to go, but you kind of have to go, because if you don't go, you're going to get fired, you're going to lose your job, right? And that's because you have, even though that superficial feeling in the moment is like you don't want to go, you understand the bigger picture of why it's important that you do go. You want to keep your job, you want financial stability, you want to progress your career, whatever it may be. That's one example, but there's obviously so many different examples where you can apply that. Especially obviously in an off season, it is very important to have that, because you might have days where you maybe don't feel like going and train, you maybe don't feel like pushing yourself to that full ability, especially when you're in that phase where you are a little bit heavier, you don't feel maybe as motivated by the shreds or being able to see the visual progress, but having a wider understanding of your goals and why it's important for you to go and train, why it's important for you to keep ticking away at the things that you want to achieve is very important. You can think, right, even though right now I don't feel like doing this, or maybe I'm not so motivated because I can't see the results, I understand the importance of doing this. I understand the importance of showing up for myself. And this is actually where having, honestly, the ability to understand the reasons why you do things, even beyond the deeper point of just what you want in bodybuilding, but in life, is also very important. Because even in those scenarios where maybe you're not actually feeling motivated by your bodybuilding goals, because sometimes, again, you've been in off season for a long time, maybe you've not got that same drive and you're like, oh, do I really care? Even though you do, sometimes you have those moments. You can understand the importance of it from a much wider perspective. It's important that you eat well today to take care of your body. It's important that you go and you train and you exercise, you do your steps to have a healthy functioning body, to have a strong body, to have a body that is going to be strong and capable and healthy when you're older, in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, beyond bodybuilding. It's important that I go to the gym today for my mental health. There's things that are present there beyond even just your bodybuilding motivations and your big bodybuilding goals. And that's why I know everyone says, like, understand your why, but it's also not just about your why, but it's the important reasons as to why you do those things, not just for you, but not just for the things that you want, but for the things that are actually really good for you and the things that are important for you to do. So those are my thoughts. That's my 2 cents on motivation. I've rambled on for 7 minutes now. So we're going to leave this segment of the clip, this segment of the video here. I'm going to move on to the rest of my rest day today, because it's actually a rest day. I've got some exciting plans today, which I cannot bring you along with, unfortunately, but hopefully sometime in the new year I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more. But I will cap off the video shortly rather than right now, so that we can have a little bit more of an entertaining ending segment to this video. Evening, everyone. I think this final segment will come as a bit of a shocker because, funnily enough, I didn't get around to recording anything else, did I? But nevertheless, I'm still here. I am editing the end of this video on a Saturday evening so that it can be out bright and early on Sunday for you all, and it's pretty damn long anyway. It's 42 minutes long. Hopefully I can edit some of that time down for you all. I'm sorry. But if you've made it to the end, I really hope that you have found some valuable insight. I actually have looked through this as I've edited it, and I'm like, yeah, got some good value in there, and I like that because I know sometimes it's nice to just have a chill vlog, but it's also sometimes really nice to have something that is genuinely helpful, and I do always try to be somewhat genuinely helpful. So I really do hope that you have enjoyed this specific vlog and been able to take some good value away from it. If you have, please do make sure to give it a good old thumbs up, like the video if you can do, share with a friend, share with anyone who you think might be able to take some positive help away from this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as always if you are finding these videos helpful, because I will make sure to keep bringing out some really good content, especially into the new year as always. But I'm pretty proud of this year. We've done an episode pretty much every single week this whole year, which has been good, and I've been really enjoying it. Talking like I'm like some Netflix series bringing out an episode. These are just vlogs, but we'll continue that trend into the year ahead. It will be after Christmas when I speak to you all next, so I hope that you all have a lovely Christmas, or just a general Christmas period if you do not celebrate the Christmas time period. I just hope you have a wonderful week ahead, whatever you're doing. Hopefully you've maybe even got a little bit of time off work, regardless. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, comment down below star or star emoji. Or you can leave anything Christmas related, because this is your one chance. So like any Christmas emojis, anything of the sort. I love anything festive, but we can do star as the keyword or the little star emoji, or you can leave anything festive. All right, lots of love, guys. I'll see you all hopefully next week.